Hi guys, welcome to the Chilling Wargamers September challenge. So this challenge is all about finishing a project that you've had on a shelf and never got brushed to miniature or never got around to finishing it. So mine is going to be the Walking Dead All Out War Miniatures game by Mantic Games. So I love this game, it's really good. I got it a couple of months ago now, and as a travesty, I painted all of the zombies, the walkers. This chap, there you go. So he's nice and grim. And I even painted some of the survivors. This bloke with a bat and so on and so forth. But if you notice conspicuously, there are two models that I never painted. And they are, quite as a travesty, Carl and Rick. So the main characters for The Walking Dead I never actually got around to painting. So this is going to be my challenge this month. I'm going to finish off this Walking Dead game because I do want to continue playing it. I want to get some sort of solo games in and things like that. It's a good little game. And yeah, Mantic are sort of stepping up their game with a lot of releases coming up. So this is going to be my challenge. I'm going to paint these guys. So without further ado, let's get some brush to miniature. Okay, so both models have these areas of sort of brown on them, which would be like the belt, the hat, Rick's jacket, which are parts of obviously of Rick's police uniform. So we're going to base those first of all with a nice dark brown. So we're going to use oak brown from the army painter and just go from there. So I'm going to get all the base coats on, tie it all together with a wash, and then see where we go and get from there. So I'm using a wet palette here, guys. So it's sort of like it sort of adds the moisture to the miniature, to the paint, should we say, already, without needing to sort of add any more. An army painter paints are quite liquidic, is that a word? So there we go. So I know as well that I think the Whisperers have just been announced for this game, which is pretty cool. I think I'm going to get another expansion on it. I actually enjoy playing it solo. That sounds really pathetic, doesn't it? But there you go, Carl with his dad's holster. Wholesome father-son activity. Going out learning to shoot. Nice models, to be fair. Something totally different to paint, you know, like when you get something totally different to what your standard things. I paint a lot of 40k models on Necrons, things like that. And having something different is, sometimes it just makes it, you know, if you're working on a massive project from another system, having something different, particularly for a skirmish game, so it does make all the difference really to your motivation to get everything painted, you know. Plus it would actually be nice to be able to use Rick and Carl in a game, you know, about The Walking Dead. I'm just going to add a little bit of water to that. So I'm really enjoying the challenges by the Chilling Wargamers. They're a really lovely community of guys, you know. And sometimes just having that challenge where you can all sort of draw each other forward, it helps, you know, just to get those projects done. So at the end of the day, having painted miniatures does make a massive difference, you know. So obviously that might need two coats on top of that hat. I started with a white base coat. Don't really know why. I think it was the way I was doing the zombies and I just blasted them all the same. I'll come back for two on that one. There you go, so there's Carl's hat and belt. Let's colour his boots. His boots are brown as well, aren't they? So we'll do his boots as well. Basically he's just robbed all of his dad's stuff. Standard really, isn't it, for kids? So obviously at this stage, when you're blocking in, it doesn't matter massively if you're getting it on the other areas, because we're going to paint over it. So there we go. That's Rick. So Rick again. We'll do his belt. Twist the brush, just get a bit of a point on it. And Rick's jacket is a police jacket, as far as I'm aware, so his collar is going to be different, so we'll try and not get any on the collar at this point. So like we say, guys, these are going to take, it's going to take 2 coats, but there's nothing wrong with that. Two coats tends to take away any of the sort of brush strokes, streaks, things like that, you know. But I must admit, I do enjoy The Walking Dead. I think it's, I mean, I started when it was the comics, and now obviously the TV show's massive, isn't it? You know, that's all over the globe and whatnot. But I do like the fact that the Walking Dead game from Mantic's based on the graphic novels. Don't get me wrong, it'd be cool to have a Daryl Dixon, but you know, have they done one? I don't know. I don't know. So there we go, getting there. So when you start painting miniatures, the way I always look at it, I pick a colour and do the same colour that's on all the models at once. It's a good way, a good tip, sort of, you know, like bulk painting or block painting, they call it. So I need a bit more paint now. You know, pick one colour that's the same on all your models, and that can be no matter what you're painting. Pick that one colour that's the same across all of it and get it blocked in, you know. I think I'm going to do a few more games of this as well. I do like it. It's a good sort of straightforward mechanic. It reminds me a lot of the Lord of the Rings mechanic. You know, at the time that game came out, I was really into that because it was a really sort of totally different game system to anything else that was out at the time. You know, like a roll-off sort of mechanic with the odd sort of tiebreaker built into it and things like that, you know. And it's the same in a lot of games now, use roll-off, don't they? But I do like the fact that the zombies and such like become more powerful the more of them there are, and things like that, you know. Quite thematic, isn't it? We're getting there. Now Rick's boots are going to be black. You know, if you're an hard man, you've got to wear black boots on, haven't you? You know. Okay, so first coat on Rick's coat is there. Let's see if Carla, well, both of them to be fair, a second going over. So like that, for example, so like Carl's false, the paint there's not been a great cover, and if we now go back over with a second coat, just gives it that richer colour depth. And we haven't obscured any of the detail on the miniature either, which is ideal. Let's make. Let's get this brush a good clean in a minute as well. do his hat. The lucky hat. Just basically, even in the apocalypse, your kids take your things. I think there's even a version of Carl with like an M16 assault rifle and stuff like that. You know, when he becomes like Rambo Carl. There we go. Better covering. He may actually take one more just on top of the hat. Rick's jacket. I don't mind a little bit of colour variation sort of fluctuation in them because it will just essentially help the wash stage that we do on them. But we don't want it sort of like we don't want it to be saturated with the base colour. And Rick's belt. There we go, so that's brown done. I'm going to give that a once over again when it's dry. So you just keep going with painting until you're happy. So I'll let the stage dry and then give the brown another go over and then I'll come back to you. Okay, so we've got still drying, but we've got a reasonable sort of coverage on the brown there, which is fine. So the next thing we're going to do is good old denim. Rick's got a pair of jeans on because, you know, what else would you wear when you're killing the undead? And sorry, Rick's got a denim shirt on and Carl's got a pair of jeans on. So the way we're going to do this is we're going to come in with Caldor Sky Blue. I'm going to desaturate it a little bit with some grey because otherwise it's going to look like they've, I don't know, got neon trousers on in the apocalypse, which isn't exactly accurate, is it? So to do that, put some on my palette. I've got a little bit of Mechanicus grey into it, just until I'm happy. There we go. So straight away, that's denim. So it's a better colour, okay. And as we go to Carl again, so it's on a white base, so it may require a couple of coats, but let's give it a darker denim sort of finish. And obviously I'm sort of copying the box art here, so to speak, but you can paint them whatever colour you want, can't you? But as neat as I can. Like grey is a really good way of sort of desaturating a blue to make a denim. I mean, obviously the majority of what we paint is high fantasy or gothic sci-fi, isn't it? Let's be honest. And that lends itself to more sort of vivid colours, whereas in realism is based more in, well, the real world. Now you're getting loads of really good knowledge out of me here. There we go. So, Carl's jeans. Ooh. So now Rick has a denim shirt on, as every good man should own. Trying to avoid getting it on his vest, we go. Because again, he always has a vest on. Yeah, it's like a Bruce Willis thing, I suppose, isn't it? Get in there. There we go. Quite happy with that. So can you see that it sort of takes away that vibrancy of the blue, grounds it in the real world a bit. So there we go. So that's done. We'll leave this stage to fully dry now. Make sure I'm happy with the coverage. Then we'll come back and we'll look at some other aspects. Okay, so I'm happy that the blue has dried nicely, and if you can see on Rick's shirt there, it gives it that sort of denim look, you know, like a David Hasselhoff style shirt on while he's killing zombies is the best thing, isn't it? So we're going to come in with some black. Carl, I don't actually believe has any on him, which is fine, but Rick, we're going to come in with some Corvus black. And we're going to do his trousers and his boots. Up around the beneath his belt first, just so that it works its way up there. Super really easy, really, this bit, guys. Just we're continuing to block in those base colours, aren't we? Yeah. And we're just going to keep giving it coats until we're happy with the consistency. I'm going over his boots as well. And the reason will become clear at the end. Okay, because although it's not going to be the same colour, the base colour's the same, which is great. So let's just get the whole thing done in one go. Okay. You know, I'm looking forward to playing this game more. I can't decide now if I want to do Negan and the Saviours, or if I want to do Alpha, Beta and the Whisperers, because I just think they look cool. It's like guys with bows and arrows, and they've sort of really progressed the timeline on. But I've got plenty of other story to do first, you know, like actually, you know, like meet Herschel and things like that. So there we go. Rick Traz is done. Let's have a quick look on Carl, see if there's any aspects of black that we want to pick out. I don't think so. I think the hat has a trim. It has like a little ring around, but it's got like a gold badge on the front, hasn't it? Let's do a black line around it. Just breaks up that brown, doesn't it? As careful as we can, eh? Keep knocking the camera, there we go. There we go. Check Rick's coverage on his trousers is okay. You know what I mean. And then obviously the belts have these little bits, don't they? So well, your belt stays up. So Here we go. I'm happy with that. Clean the brush out. We're going to have a look at now. So Carla's got like a red hoodie on. Just what you want when you're blending in the apocalypse is a red hoodie. So I'm going to use Mephisto red. Palette. And I'm going to desaturate it again, guys. I'm going to use a little bit of the original brown that we used. I need a great deal. It's just a dot. Just to... There we go, straight away. So it's a bit more realistic. It just takes the edge off it, basically. Yeah, and here we go. Let's get in there. So... I'm not sure on the choice of attire here. I mean, God, really? Mind you, I don't know. Zombies don't really. Do they see like colour? I don't know. And it's noise more than anything, I think, isn't it? But hey, oh, who knows, eh? So we'll go up to his arms. Across his back. Coral. I think because I think Lydia's coming out with the whispers. I think that's Carlin bothering it. It's like one of those girls that you don't want your son to bring home. Hey, Mum and Dad, this nut job likes to wear the faces of the dead. Great, son. Yeah, you invite her in for dinner. So I'm just blocking in the red here. It's nicely desaturated, just with a dot of brown in it. I suppose it makes Carl stand out on the tabletop, doesn't it? I imagine he's actually quite a good figure in the game. Obviously I've not used them yet. The lucky hat, I believe, is quite useful. But hey, you'll have to let me know, anyone out there that's a big player of it. Let me know. It's just nice to be finishing off a project, which is the whole idea, really. There we go, there, under his arm. There we go. They're coming on, aren't they? So let's wash that brush. Rick. Looks very stern there. Mind you. Been through a bit, hasn't he? Well, not yet. Not at this stage, he's not anyway. Okay, so I think we will now look at the flesh. So flesh, I'm going to give it a base of Cadian Flesh Town for both of them. With flesh, I block it in just like every other colour, and then shade it and highlight it back up. I find that's just by far the easiest way of doing things. And I always do a face before coming into like a beard or anything like that. Just because it's easier to block in first. Oh, let's get a point on that brush. Definitely getting to the stage where I need a new brush. Try and get in there. There we go. Back of the neck. So I've got on his hair a bit there, but I'm not too fussed. And likewise here. Got a pistol in his hand. pistol in the hand. Back of the axe, every good man needs a hatchet, don't they? Ooh. And eventually we'll get some different camera equipment as well. But new brush first. There we go. There we go. So he's coming along. Okay, cool. So I have to say that I actually really like the mechanics of the AI in this system. I think they've really nailed that zombie action. So, you know, they get caught on terrain, but then don't just bump into it. They'll walk around it and things like that, you know. And you've got to think to yourself, do I actually want to fire a gun in this situation? Because it's going to draw all these zombies in and cause me no end of bother, you know. There we go. Right, so Carl has obviously got a bit of hair. He doesn't have a beard, obviously. There we go. Ta-da. Okay, so I'm going to let those stages thoroughly dry. We've got to do hair, weapons, Rick's little coat tuft thing, and same on Carl, haven't we? And then we'll give the brown one stage highlight, and then we'll give him a wash. So I'll come back to you shortly. Okay, so I think the next stages we're going to do the axe handle and then the hat. So I'm going to come in with some leather brown, a bit of a light brown. We'll probably do Rick's hair with this as well. Bit of a dot on the wet palette. And there we go. So for the axe handle, going to get in there as best we can. And then around the other side as well. There we go. Underneath. Oop. And we're also going to use this colour just to give some of Carl's items a bit of a highlight. So we're on, all I'm doing here, guys, is I'm just picking out the top of the gun holster and the hat. Okay, around the rim of the hat and around the top as well. Okay, it's just to give it that as something extra. It all will become clear when we go to the next stage. Brush to a point again. Definitely in the market for a new brush after this one. There we go. Edge of the hat. That was a bit of a tickle. Okay. Rick's coat we're going to leave because we'll highlight that after the fact that we've washed the miniature down. But what we're going to do now is the hair, and the way we're going to do that is we're going to use a bit of our black that we had previously, and we're going to mix it in just to give it that off colour, and we're going to come in on top of the head. I don't really know if Rick in the comic book what colour his hair is going to be. I think it's like a sort of ashen blonde. Is he? I don't really know. He is now anyway for me. There we go. Just a line there as well. Yeah. And because Carl is his son, we're going to do the same hair colour on Carl as well. There's not a lot showing. Bit down the sides, he needs to get his hair cut, this lad. Get his life sorted out, get a job. There we go. So we're almost there, our base coat is almost done, eh? So now we need to do just a couple of extra bits before we go in. So first thing we're going to do is weapons, and I'm going to use some gunmetal and shake it up, and we're going to do the axe head and the various pistols with gunmetal. More than enough there. Back of the gun. The axe head. There's a little hatchet. It's probably the most dangerous thing in The Walking Dead, isn't it? Rick's hatchet. See how many zombies he's done in with that. Okay. And on to Carl. He's got a pistol, hasn't he? It's a scallywag. Go. So the other thing that we're going to use, we're actually going to break out another brush which is a fine point on it. What we're going to do with this is Rick's belt. So Rick has a belt buckle. I'm just building it up. Yeah. So there we go. Rick's belt buckle done. And also Carl has a little sheriff badge on his hat. So we're going to do that with a different colour, I think. I think we're going to do it a gold. Let me just research. I believe it's gold. I'm just going to double check. Yep, it's gold. So, a bit of distributor. I need the tiniest drop here. Okay. Badge on Carl's. Show us that. There we go. And now we're going to do the collar on Rick's coat and the little straps on Carl's hoodie. He's a right ruffian, isn't he? He's got a hoodie on, he's got a pistol, wrecking the place up. Okay, so start on the top. I've come in with bone here. It's like a generic bone colour, skeleton bone, whatever you want to call it. There we go. On the side here. Yep, quite happy with that. So that's the base coats on Rick done. Ooh. Carl, however, has these little taffles, so we're going to break out a little brush again. I'm just going to get these tassels a little tickle. There we go. Okay, so that's your base coat done. Now, Rick, and Carl. Okay, so both of those are ready to thoroughly dry, and then we'll come back in, give them a wash, and then work on highlights. Okay, but first thing, guys, let it dry. Okay, so base colours are dry on Carl, and on Rick as well. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, I'm going to wash the whole model with some dark tone, and that gives me my sort of washed down basis to do all my highlighting on. Dark tone just use like a jam jar lid or something like that. Come in with a brush. I don't water dark tone down, I just get it straight on the miniature and just all over the model. Okay, really is as easy as that. It's going to add a lot of face, skin, everywhere, guys. Yeah, it's just going to add a lot of, well, tone, as the name suggests, and give us that basis to do our highlighting on top of. Okay. So key to dark tone. So obviously that we need to let it thoroughly dry. So here we go. Getting there. And back there. Make sure it's not pooling too much. I still want to see that he's got a vest on. Back of that leg. And even on the black, it instantly adds shade because we're using Corax. Sorry, not Corax, Corvus black. It does instantly give it that sort of oomph. Carl needs to sort his life out, you know, get a job, and that sort of thing. So, here we go. I love Darktown for those sort of quick and, not quick and easy paint jobs, well I suppose it is quick and easy, yeah. Just a quicker paint job where you just want to get your models on the board, get them done, but you know, you could happily Darktown something and game with it straight away. Well, not straight away, you got to let it dry obviously, but you know what I mean. Whereas I use it for quite a darken down all the base tight all together. There we go. So now I'm going to leave this to dry, guys. It'll be a few seconds for you, but it's going to be overnight for me. And then we'll work on the highlighting, okay?